Hello everyone, it's your sister Roland, and all I need is a few minutes to talk about this webinar that was hosted by Stormy Wellington, who goes by Coach Stormy on YouTube and Instagram. She's a very well-known business coach, life coach. She's a coach. And she has a reality TV show that's going to be on Lifetime that should be premiering very soon in March, actually. So backstory, she has three kids. She has two boys and a girl. And sometime last year, I think starting November to December, she had a falling out with her daughter that had kind of went viral. I know she's not talking to her son. She'll tell you that right now.
Self. Man is made and unmade by his daily choices. I could have woke up this morning and been decided to be sad because me and Manaya ain't talking, me and Hennessy ain't talk. These are children. These are children that's supposed to honor their mother and their father. And if anybody is telling my kids anything other than that, y'all wrong. And guess what happens? You're going to pay the price just as much as the person that did the job.
So I think when she did that live and you heard she was not speaking to her daughter, she was not speaking to her son who goes by the name Hennessy, and the daughter is Manaya. So at that time when she was doing this webinar, I think maybe she did it later or the next day, but remember, people, as Tony Gaskins always say, people speak from where they are. So that's why I decided to do commentary on this webinar, because at the time she was doing this webinar, she was, she felt betrayed. She was crying, even though she said that, she's not going to cry anymore, but it hurt her, the fact that it was certain ladies that she had a falling out with, and her daughter, whether she knew or didn't know, decided to, hang out with these ladies. So she felt betrayed by what her daughter did. So she's feeling this pain and betrayal, and then she does this webinar. Let's get into the first clip.
Me and him, y'all, I was 15. When I had my child, I decided that, oh my God, I'm going to take care of my child. So I had to drop out of school. I became a stripper. You understand? I became a stripper. My first time in a strip club, I was 13. Can you imagine being 13 years old in a strip club, trying to make some money to pay your water bill because your mom was in Jamaica and you ain't had no choice, you just wanted water?
So I have snippets of the webinar. If you want to watch the whole webinar, I would link it down below. But that was the first part, where she went into explaining how she became a stripper at the age of 13. And that's very young. The youngest I knew, I had a friend that became a stripper at 15, but I didn't know 13. I didn't know they had allowed that. Maybe they don't, but they get away with stuff like that. But she did go into explaining how she became a stripper at the age of 13, because she had to basically fend for herself because her mother was unable to do that, because she said her mother left for Jamaica, and according to her, her mother was on drugs also. So she had to become an adult basically. And many times when I've heard people talk about her, they mention the part that she was a stripper. But after listening to her webinar, she mentioned that her mom had a boyfriend who would watch adult movies near her, around her, but she was able to hear those things going on. And this, she said, she was like 10, 12. She was at a very young age. She was exposed to adult experiences. And this may have played a part in why she went the route of choosing to be a stripper instead of, because I think she lived in Miami at the time, instead of going to maybe the flea market, or maybe going and asking people to clean their house, or different things, or babysit, a more a more respectful job, she decided to go and strip. So it may have been that influence of her, all the things, all the drug use from her mom and all this adult movies that may have played a part in why she went the route of being a stripper. And also because she was stripping, she had to fend for herself at a young age. This also breed into her that hustle mentality. You know what I went through, I don't want my children to go through. And we all do this. We all have to go through this, and we all have this mindset. I struggled. I don't want my children to struggle. I don't want my children to have to do what I had to do. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. But most of the time when we do that, we don't instill, you see, that hustle mentality, that work ethic, that working hard to get what we want. We don't most of the time we don't instill that in the children. We don't instill that because why you have what you have, because nobody gave it to you. You had to work hard for it. You had to work for what you did. But sometimes when we get it and then we become successful, rich, wealthy, we don't also instill those in our children. Not all our children is going to be a business person, but some of them can be smart, like do well in school where they are able to help us in our business. So just as this is how you create generational wealth. We say we want to create generational wealth, but we are not, because we're hustling. We're working hard, to build those empires, to build those different businesses. But then we are breeding, because when you give children everything they want or everything that you did not have, you breed children that are entitled. You breed children that are ungrateful. You breed children that are disrespectful. You breed children that are lazy. Not all the time, but most of the time, this is what happens, because you just give them whatever they want. Just give them whatever they want. No, I'm gonna show you. Even though I'm able to give you whatever you want, but I will not, because that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you in the future. Even though you are young, you may not be able to work, but look at your room. Look at your clothes. You got everything you want. I should not be accepting D's and F's from you. And some kids, not even a C. Because you get everything you want, the bare minimum, you should make an effort to get good grades in school. The bare minimum, you should, even if you don't get a job, but you should be able to get you can give your children a job position in your business. And you would say, of course, save taxes on that. Most of the time we don't do this. I have two people that I met that this is what their parents did. Even though the parents were able to give them everything that they want, the parents did not do that. They had to get a job and work, and they had to pay their parents towards the bills. But this is what one of the parent did. One of the parent, they every time, I think it was 5 of them, they would give the parents the money from their job. The parents saved it. They saved, I think some of them started working at like 13, 14 years old. They saved it until they were 18 years old. And by the time they were 18 years old, all of them basically had money to buy houses. Some of them bought houses, and some of them was able to pay their own college on top of, all the other scholarships and financial aids that they got. And so that's how their parents set them up. This was that person. The second family that I know, they did not. You have to have good grades. You have to have good grades, and in the good grades that they brought to the parents, they would, give them money side when they do chores here and there around the house. They would pay them in a sense, so they would build that worth ethic, even though they knew they had it, but they instilled in their child, you have to work hard to get what you want in life. You have to use your brain power to achieve what you need in life. Things should not be handed to you, as many of us are doing, because we don't want our children to go through what we went through. We don't want them to struggle. We don't want them to feel pain. But that's why you are who you are today, because of the pain, because of the struggle. Yes, your children don't have to go to exactly what you went through, but they need to know, I have to work. I need to work hard. I need to put all of my maximum effort to what I'm doing. When people are making it easier for me, because what that is going to show them is, first of all, you can do all this and the child still turn out ungrateful and disrespectful, but they will know that in life you have to work hard. And secondly, you have to have somebody backing you up. Look at the guy that I knew and all of his brothers and sisters. If their parents did not work towards their future, was not looking towards their future, was not sowing towards their future, they would have not gotten that head start that they got, that probably their parents didn't get. So you need somebody in your corner to back you up. Second clip.
Will your mission and your mantra and your message serve? You got to be able to define this. See, it can't be about taking care of your family and paying the bills, y'all. I'm sorry, that ain't enough. It got to go outside of your family.
And this is why we have a lot of children and young adults that are running around that have grown up and were not raised, because the parents or the parent was focused on themselves. Of course, they put themselves first, because when you have a children, you have to it's not about you anymore. It's about that child, because that child did not ask to be in this world. You have to do what you need to do to make sure they are secured financially, physically, emotionally. It's not about you anymore. And that is why we have children running around, because people just keep on, oh, I gotta work. Yes, you do have to work, but sometimes you gotta be there for your child to ensure that, do you have manners? Are you respectful? How are you doing in your classes? Do you respect your teachers? Do you respect me? All the sacrifice I'm making, do you understand the sacrifices that I'm making? Sometimes we have to know when to take off the boss chick, the businessman, the businesswoman hat, and be a mother. Yes, you need to have a mission and mantra, but even in the Bible, it said, Jesus told them, it's Jerusalem first. Then you're going to go to Samaria and Judea and all the extremities of the world. It starts at home. Your home has to be secured. Whatever mission God has given you, it has to be at home first. You need to start at home. If you're supposed to build women and building up, your children need to be builded up. Because sometimes we focus on outside and we don't check on the inside. Are your children, if you are invited to the White House, are you able to go to the White House with your children, and your children are well behaved without you having to bribe them or threaten them? Sometimes we need to know when to take off that boss chick and focus on our children. That is your first purpose. Your first purpose, if you are a parent. If you're not a parent, okay, that's when you're a parent, and if you want to be a parent, because now people don't want to be parents now. But when you're a parent, that is your purpose first. That is your first purpose. To raise that child. In the way they should go. Whether it's good or bad. Because if you raise them in the way they should go, a good way, they will not depart from it. You raise them in the bad way, or you don't raise them at all, they will not depart from it. So no matter how you raise your child, they will not depart from it. So that is your first purpose. And remember, she is speaking because she's speaking from a place, because her daughter hurt her heart. She was hurt by her daughter. People speak from where they are. That's why you have to be you have to be careful when you have a platform and people listen to you. You have influence to make sure you are speaking from a place of healing. You're not speaking from a place of pain, because she was speaking from a place of pain. That's why she say it's not about the children. It's paying the bills and helping your family. That's not enough. No, it is. That's what you're supposed to do. Your home needs to be secure. Your home needs. Yeah, you could show me how to get money, but if my children are not in order, all that money is gonna. You see how you hustle. You see how you work day and night. You work several hours. If you do not invest in your children, not only financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, if God forbid something happens to you, within 6 months, everything you work for will crumble down. You need to focus on the children. We have to focus on our children. That is our first mission. Because if you fail as a parent, you are the biggest failure in this life. It may seem that you're doing good in business, you're doing good in schooling, you're doing good here in relationship, but it's only for a moment, because you failed to raise your child. You failed your children. And now this, she has, as she said, the son isn't talking to her, the daughter isn't talking to her. I'm not on Coach Stormy's side. I'm not on the children's side, because whenever a relationship deteriorates, all of y'all at fault. All of y'all have a fault. You have a fault in it. The other person has a fault in it. Sometimes we're supposed to say something, we didn't say it. Sometimes we're not supposed to say certain things, we say it. Sometimes we're not supposed to do certain things and we do it. Sometimes we are supposed to do, we don't do it. So all their relationship, which they did make up, they did make up just recently. Her and her daughter made up. I'm not sure about the son, but this is the picture. So this is a screenshot of the mother's, Coach Stormy's, Instagram, and she says, "Home is where the heart is. She knows my heart beat from the inside at Manaya. You sickos really try to separate us. This is how I learned spiritual attacks. You won't win though. My God is in control." Here they have a picture here together. And this was just like 5 days ago. So they recently made up.
Stop thinking that the bills come first, the children come first. No, when you ain't together, nothing could come before you. Something is gonna get neglected on your journey to success. You may not be able to be at every football game, but you have a bigger mission, and it's to make sure that your kids ain't never got to work for the football team unless they own the team.
Yes, it's very true in life. There are things that will be neglected on your journey to success, especially if you are a single parent. There are things that's going to be, because you are doing everything. You're doing everything. You're doing everything by yourself at first. But most of the time, if you believe in God, actually, even if you don't believe in God too, people will help. People will try to help you. People will try to help you, give you advice and stuff like that. But sometimes the advice people give us, or the way they give us, sometimes we may interpret it as, oh, they don't like us, they don't like our children. So now you're definitely doing it by yourself. You're definitely doing it by yourself. But even if things were to get neglected, your children should never get neglected. You should always be there, even though you have so much work to do, you have so much marketing to do, you have products to ship out, you have things to do. If that child needs your attention, that should be your first priority. And this is most likely why, if she has this mentality, this is most likely why her and her children keep on having rifts. They keep on falling out. especially with the her daughter. This is not the first time. This is not the first time they have fallen out, and this is not only her story. This is many people's story. The mother daughter hate relationship. The mother and daughters do not get along because why? This is what we don't. This is what we do. We don't find the root why we're not getting along. Why? I don't like my mom. Why? My daughter is being disrespectful. Nope, we don't do it. We fall out, and then we don't talk to each other no more. And then after a while, and stuff like that, we get back together, but really never sit down to figure out what caused it. Sometimes because she said in the post that other people try to put a wedge, but this is not the first time they have fallen out. This is not the first time. And then when we don't try to fix these problems, and then we'll say, oh, when I get my daughter, when I get my son, it's going to be different. No, it's going to be the same thing, because it's turned to a curse. It's going to go from generation to generation, because her mother, Coach Stormy, and her mother really didn't have a good relationship, because her mom did not put the maximum effort, according to her, because she had to go and strip as a 13-year-old. You're still a child. And now it trickled into her and her daughter's relationship. So now if somebody don't stop and say, hey, we need to fix this. We need to find the root. What is causing it? Where it came from? It will continue. You see, now they're cool. It's gonna happen again, because you really didn't. If you didn't find the root, it's gonna happen again and again, until one day one of them do something to each other, and then they never speak again, or they figure it out, and then so this rift and this bad relationship between mothers and daughters don't continue. Because it's either the daughter, she either came back because she realized she needed her mom, and she only has one mom. She did say she only has one mom. Or she's broke, because I remember it was a live that Coach Stormy had with her friend named Portia, and Portia did mention that Coach Stormy had give the daughter $20,000 to find a place to live. Stormy didn't say it, but the friend said it. So she gave her $20,000 to go find some place to live. And if they live in Miami, certain places in Miami, $20,000 can pay maybe 6 months, depending on ways. But some places in Miami, if you want to live in a nice place, maybe a nice condo, because she is young, sometimes that could only pay like 3-4 months. That's how expensive it is to live in Miami now. So she either came back because she's broke, or she is, because the reality show is going to be out soon. So when they have the show, they have a premiere, they have the red carpet and they take pictures. So it may have looked bad that she wasn't there, because they have fallen out. They may have made up because of that, so she could be next to her mother. Or they're building more drama. For the show, so people can really tune in, because all this back and forth from November, December. She had a falling out with some of the coaches, and even some people that were on the show. Coach Stormy had a falling out with those ladies. So this is why I've always heard things about Coach Stormy, the way she talks to people, the way she treats people sometimes. So this is why I don't have no favorites. I'm not picking no sides, because I'm sure the rift between her children, Coach Stormy has a fault in that. The children has a fault in that also. And people just need to put their pride aside and come together to fix the problem, or else it will continue from generation to generation. And this is what a lot of people are going through. A lot of people, some daughters really want to have a relationship with their mothers, but they can't, because the relationship is too toxic. Whether it's the daughter, whether it's the mother, and this will continue to generation. It's not going to change because you just have a daughter. You have to go to the root. So that was some, because when I listen to people, I chew the meat and spit out the bones. But there are many things that she was saying. She was speaking from a place of pain, because at that time she was still going through it with her kids. She was still going through it with her kids, and then she's giving other women advice that was not wise advice. It was not wise to say those things. So her reality show is set to premiere very soon. I think maybe the 17th. I saw the 17th. So we'll see how things turn out and how the show goes. So this is all I had to say on this situation. I will link the whole webinar if you're interested in listening to it down below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.